important factor is that they start their bouncing in time, and the very first move is started in synchronization. There is always one bouncer who does the adjusting. You cannot have two bouncers adjusting, so the more powerful of the trampolinists usually is the one that adjusts. And they do it by watching, they do it by listening for the foot contacts, and that was a very, very nice routine. Finishing off with a Rudy ball out, and pretty nearly spot on. Two 1 3/4, perfectly synchronized opening. There's two half-out pike, that's the double somersault with a half twist in the out somersault. Two beautifully synchronized straight backs. We now move to the men and to the Australian pair. We have Adrian Warren and Michael Johnson with a carryover score of 79.30.
Adrian Warren und Michael Johnson aus Australien.
Waiting for the order from the superior judge to start their pre-bouncing. This could be quite a difficult routine because the Australians are noted for doing difficulty. Full in half out starts, half in Rudy outs, perfect synchronization so far. Half out pikes, half in, half out, and it's gone a little bit there. Can they bring it back? Yes, straight back again. That's excellent. And a little bit out on the finish, but a very good recovery. Went wrong on about the 6th or 7th move and brought it back straight away. That's very good adjusting. And I would imagine that in this pairing that Adrian Warren would be doing the adjusting on the far side. Now he'll have to keep the height right down, which he does. Brings it straight back. Excellent. There we have two half in, half outs. They're allowed to twist in a different direction, but they must somersault in the same direction. And the routine is void when they become half a skill apart, over half a skill apart. Back to the ladies. Very jazzy leotards there from the Canadian pair of Kathy Worley and Kay Koch. There's the clapping instead of the counting. Clap again because it was a false start. Two Rudy outs, a bit of travel on the far bed, and they've got it back now. The far bed is moving around an awful lot. She's travelling from one end to the other, but they seem to have stabilised the routine now for a good finish. 1 and 3 and Rudy ball outs. But there was a lot of travel over on the far side there, and she'll be penalised for that. Two straight back somersaults. Two double twisting back somersaults. And that's the start, the two Rudy outs. Straight into the double back somersault, one with a much earlier kick out than the other one. We move on to the Canadian men's pair.
Was ist das eigentlich?
J. Ucoin and P. Cameron with a carryover score of 79.7. If we get a close-up look at the trampoline bed later on, you'll notice that there's all holes in the bed. And that's because the bed is webbed and it allows the air to pass through the bed, which makes the trampoline much lighter in performance and much more powerful. Many years ago, the bed didn't have any holes in them. Then they went to a 2-inch web bed. Then they moved to an inch web bed, and then to a 1/2-inch web, and to a 6mm bed, which is 1/4 of an inch. They seemed pretty pleased with that routine. It was quite a low tariff, as world-class synchronized trampolining goes. 2 straight backs. Two half-in, half-outs there. That's the half in the first somersault and a half in the second. 2 Rudy outs, a little bit out on foot contact. We move on now to the German pair, Hager and Spang, with a carryover score of 77.3. There she is, licking her hands. That is, believe it or not, to stop your knees slipping out of the tucks because your hand gets a little bit sweaty with anxiety. And if it works, use it. So they're in their pre-bouncing, building up the height. Two Rudy outs, 2 double backs, and she's hit the side of the trampoline and she looks as if she's really hurt her foot. We'll have the coaches round to have a look. Sometimes you don't know as coach whether it's a really bruised ego or whether it's an injury. Sometimes the athlete tends to feel more pain and remorse because of what's been blown, the risk of a medal or a title. So as coach, you have to go in there and check that they are perfectly all right before you worry about the bruised ego. There she is. One foot goes right through the springs. And we now have the Japanese pairing of Takuya and Yuzi with a carryover score of 82.10. The Japanese trampolinists have been getting progressively better and better over the last decade, and now they are certainly a world force. And as we will see here, they're probably very good synchro, starting with 2 triples. Excellent. 2 half-in, half-outs, 2 half-outs. Very good synchronization. 2 full-in, full-out. This is very difficult as well. Very high tariff routine. Full-in, half-out, and full-in, full-out. Very good routine. I'm sure they'll be well pleased with that. Their coach certainly looks as if he's pleased. There's their carryover score of 82.10. And I would think with that routine, they'll go into first place at the moment. Double back, kicking out, showing that extension. The half in, half out, into a half out. That's the twist in the last somersault. And there's a half in and a half out. Twist in the first, twist in the second. We move on to Liz Jensen and Newman Morris from Australia with a carryover score of 77.7. Two half-in, half-outs into 2 half-out pike. Excellent synchronization so far. Every foot contact has been spot on. That one was a little bit out, but she's brought it back. Must be quite difficult with that pairing because the girl on the far bed looks quite a bit heavier than the one nearer. So she's obviously having to keep her height well down. Two half-out tucks. The tuck is when the knees are right up to the chest. That's the pike shape, bent at the hips, and that's the straight opening of the 1 3/4 somersaults. There's the half out pike, that's a half twist in the second somersault. Straight back somersault. Always their eyes are looking for that cross on the middle, because that tells them where they've moved to on the trampoline and what adjustment to make. There, we've got the anxiety going through his mind, wiping his sweating hands. We now move on to the Polish pair, Akinesku and Sokulash, with a carryover score of 82.70. Building the pre-bouncing, trying to keep absolutely in time. 2 Rudy outs pikes, 2 half-in Rudy outs, a little bit of gain on the trampoline close to us. Gain means travelling forwards, and now they're outs. Will they be able to bring it back? And he was very close to the springs on the far trampoline, and they're going to be down in the 8.5s at the most for that routine on desynchronization, because they were quite a lot out at the end of the routine. Here we see different kick-outs, totally different timing. 2 full-in, full-outs. There's the half-in, half-outs. At that stage, they weren't far out. And 2 half-outs, and it was from here on that it went a bit wrong. We now move on to Michaelson and Sands, the Danish pair, with a carryover score of 77.9. In international competition, you must have a spotter at each side of the trampoline, and in national competitions as well, and even at local level, you must always have spotters, because if the trampolinist errs and moves to the side and is in danger of falling off, then the spotter comes in to, with any luck, retrieve the trampolinist or help. And that was very good synchronization, that routine. Just lost it on the last move. Not a lot of tariff or degree of difficulty, but a very good routine. And in synchronization, tariff isn't always the most important factor. Pike back somersault. 1 3/4, landing on the back. And there's the half-in, half-out. Into a half-out tucked. And straight back. Piked in a little bit early on the near trampoline, showing she was lacking in rotation a little bit. And we move on to the next men's pair, for Barpod and Schwartz from France. The French have a very good history of world-class synchronized trampolining. Very difficult start there, and good synchronization so far. 2 Rudy outs there, 2 half-in, half-outs. Half-in Rudy outs, and a very good routine. A little bit of arm swinging on the far side because he was out of balance in his last bounce, but very good synchronization, and that out bounce won't count in the synchronization of the routine, only in the form marking. There's the full-in, half-outs. Remember, I said that they don't have to twist in the same direction, but isn't it nice when they do? Little bit out there. Now we have Bar and Celina from Germany. Gabby Bar, the young lady on the trampoline nearest has 2 children, and she's in her 30s. She's been in the sport for a lot of years and is a veteran as regards experience. And that's good synchro. The girl on the far side is a little bit too high. She's got to drop the height down. Yes, she brings it down back in time. And that's a nice routine. And the home crowd enjoying that one. Local girls. Two double twisting back somersaults. 1 3/4 front somersault to backdrop there. And that's the half in, half out. Remember, a half in the first somersault, that's the in somersault, and a half out in the second. Double back somersault. Nice kick out with the arms by the side. And we move on to the German pair of Ralph Pelle and Mikhail Kuhn with a carryover score of 84.50. Must get good stability in this pre-bouncing. 2 triples to start. Half in Rudy outs. 2 Rudy outs. Perfection so far. 2 half outs. 2 back in falls. 2 half in half outs and half out tucked. And half in Rudy outs to finish, and the crowd loving that one. The German crowd really cheering for their home lads, doing a superb synchronized routine. There's the 2 Rudy out tucked, spot on foot contact. Half in, half out, spot on again. Probably looking around 9-4 on that routine, desynchronization. And we move back to the ladies, the Soviet pairing of Kolomits and Kapiria. Two Rudy outs, a good start. Half in, half out. Excellent so far. Really good synchronization. Half in, half out tucked. And that is superb synchronization. Absolutely superb. There's the 2 half outs. 2 double back somersaults piked. Absolute quality routine. Puts them in first position so far. So they take the lead with that excellent routine. We now move to the Soviet men's pair of Dilchenko and Moscalenko. Both from Krasnodar, both trained together, and I'm sure they'll be able to deliver the goods. Moscalenko, the individual champion of Europe, the individual world champion. Two triples, absolute perfection. Half in Rudy outs, perfect foot timing. Like in a mirror, which is what synchronized trampolining is all about, a mirror image, absolute perfection. Brilliant routine. Probably a desynchronization mark of around 9.6 there. Absolute superb quality in form and synchronization. The openings are even at the same time. There's the half in Rudy outs. And we move on to the Soviet pair of Lushina and Merkelova. Can they do enough to topple their compatriots Kolomitz and Koperia? Two Rudy outs piked, beautiful stuff. Rudy outs tucked, absolutely spot on. Half in, half out. Double backs piked. 1 and 3, and a ball out Barani to finish. Absolute superb quality from these superb athletes. And can that be enough to win the gold medal? It's going to be close, very close, between the two Russian pairings. Beautiful openings there, absolute perfect timing. It's pretty to watch. Half in, half out, spot on foot contact. Rudy outs tucked. Back over to the men's competition. We have Polaroush and Nestrelai with a carryover score of 86.7 in the lead at the moment. Can they do enough to topple Moscalenko and Dilchenko? I'm sure the difficulty will be very similar, so it will be all down to the quality of desynchronization and the quality of the form. Two triples, two half-in Rudy outs, two Rudy outs piked. Absolute poetry in motion so far. Brilliant stuff. A little tiny bit out there and back together for a finish. Two Millers, very complicated move. Superb routine there from these superb athletes. And will they have done enough? And there's confirmation of the ladies. First and second to the Soviet athletes. And in third position, the Germans. And in the men's, we have first and second again from the Soviets. And in third position, the Germans again. So that completes the World Championships, and what a fabulous exhibition of trampolining it was. So from me, Brian Phelps, goodbye. Side of the trampoline moves back in the half out pike, which is a double somersault with a half twist, a half in, half out somersault. That's where the half twist is in the first somersault and a half twist is out of the second somersault. There's the double twisting backward somersault. We move on now to the 1986 world champion Tatyana Lushina from the Soviet Union. She has a carryover score of 61.1. The half in, half out, a half out somersault tucked, half out somersault piked, a double backward somersault, building up to the finish. And that last move is called a Randy ball out, which is a 2.5 twist, 1 1/4 somersaults from the back. And that was an excellent routine. Being congratulated by her teammate. There's the half-in Rudy out, which is a double twisting, double somersault into a Rudy out tuck, another 1.5 twisting double somersault. This is real quality trampolining we're seeing here. There's the 1.5 twisting double somersault. Double backward somersault there, lovely opening, beautiful extension at the end of the move. And a beautiful opening in the 1 3/4 somersault. And there's the 2.5 twisting 1 1/4 somersault from the back. and she scores 37.20 for a grand total of 98.3, which puts her in first place at the moment. The next competitor, Elena Kolomets from the Soviet Union, with a carryover score of 61.2. She is currently lying in 8th position. When they bounce in the final, they bounce in reverse order, so we would see the 10th position first. There's a Rudy out piked and half-in Rudy out tucked. Superb quality routine this. Half out tucked, a half out piked, building the height up there, staying right in the middle of the trampoline. There's a meter box actually on the bed, 2 red lines, and they must stay within that meter box. If the routine moves out of the center, out of the actual meter box, then she will lose marks. There's the half-in Rudy out start, looking for the trampoline all the time, spotting the bed. There she's looking again, picks up the bed as early as possible. That tells her whether she's moved around the trampoline and what adjustment to make for the next move. There's a Rudy out piked into a half-in Rudy out tucked.
Sandra Celina von der Republik Deutschland.
And she scores 37 points for a total of 98.2. Just 1/10 of a point behind Tatiana Lushina. Next we have Sandra Celina from Germany with a carryover score of 61.20. In the ladies' event, there were 48 competitors at the start, each having performed 2 routines, 1 compulsory and 1 voluntary, to qualify for this final. The 10 finalists are now competing their 2nd voluntary routine. And that was a nice routine there from Sandra. The audience approved of it, and there she is giving Paul Luxton a big hug. Paul was the 1972 men's world champion from Great Britain, who moved to Germany to coach trampolining at Salzgitter. And among his prodigies are the great Ralph Pelle, who was 3rd in 1980 in the World Championships. And Sandra scores 35.7 for a total of 96.9. Not good enough to take the lead there. The next performer is young Andrea Holmes from Great Britain. Andrea has been 2nd in 2 World Championships. In 86 she was 2nd, in 88 she was 2nd, and I'm sure she's hoping to take the gold this time. A half in, half out, into a half Rudy out, double back piked, a beautiful routine, beautiful extension at the end of the moves. That's what the judges are looking for. A full in, half out, and a double twisting back somersault into the last move, which was a full in, half out straight. At the end of the routine, however excited they are, they must stand for 3 seconds, otherwise they get an end deduction from the judges. That's the Rudy out piked. Very close arms to pick up the rotation for the next move. The double back piked into a half out pike, showing that beautiful extension at the end of the move. She scores 36.5 for a total of 99.5, which puts her in first place. Andrea Holmes takes the lead. The next competitor is Anna Dogonazi from the Soviet Union. A very powerful trampolinist, this young lady. She starts with a triple somersault. The only woman to start with a triple. There it is. Into a half in, half out. Into a Rudy out piked. Into a half in, half out. A lot of travel on that move. She goes right up one end of the trampoline. Brings it right back to the middle. Double back piked into a 1 3/4 And an excellent finish there. Just a little bit out of the meter box, for which she'll be penalised. Here's the second move, which was the half in, half out. Remember, after that triple. And the Rudy out piked, dressing the arms down the side of the body to show real elegance. Every time she extends from the move, she hides the arms. The judges don't want to see messy arms at the end of the move. Rudy out piked, she scores 34.8 for a total of 98, which still leaves Andrea Holmes in the lead. Next we have Susan Chalice, formerly Susan Shotton of Great Britain, who was the 1984 world champion, and she has a carryover score of 63.3. A Rudy out piked, straight into the Rudy out tucked, half in, half out, full in, half out, double somersault upon double somersault with twist. A little bit rushed, this routine, especially that last move. I don't know whether that's going to be enough to take Andrea Holmes. We'll just have to wait and see. There's the Rudy out tucked. Into the half in, half out piked, spotting the bed as soon as possible to make the adjustments required. A full in, full out. Very hard move there for a lady. Into a half out piked. And puts in the Evie straight back to stabilise her for the finish. And 35.9 she scores, 99.2, which is just not quite enough, puts her in second place at the moment. Andrea Holmes of Great Britain is still leading. Now we have Elena Merkelova from the Soviet Union, a superb young athlete, lying in first position at the moment. All the pressure is on her. What must be going through her mind at the moment? I know, because I've been in this position. She'll be thinking of the quality of her routine, controlling the nerves, controlling the butterflies in the stomach, taking off on the right bounce, building the height without overusing the body so that she doesn't move around the trampoline too much. We call it muscling if they use too much to create height. And here's the first move, a full in, half out, into a half in, Rudy out. Beautiful routine, staying right on the spot, building height back up from the next move, each move going right back up to the same height. Beautiful extension at the end. Will it be enough? Will she overtake Andrea Holmes, remember, who's been second twice in the World Championships? There's the half in, Rudy out. Into the Rudy out piked. Beautiful routine, beautiful extension at the end of the moves, hiding the arms. Lovely extension in the double back tuck there, reaching up for the half out piked. Hardly moving from the cross, and she scores 37 for a total of 101.6. So Elena Merkelova, this fine Soviet athlete, becomes the world champion. Here we have confirmation of the scores. Elena Merkelova with 101.6 takes the gold. Andrea Holmes with the silver. Sue Chalice with the bronze. And Tatiana Lushina in fourth position. Join us since '86. Favourite for the title is 1989 European champion from Krasnodar, Alexander Moscalenko. We start the competition with Ralph Pelle from Germany. Ralph has a fine pedigree. In 1980 he was bronze medalist in the World Championships. A very powerful trampolinist who does a lot of difficulty in the routine. A pike triple to start, into a half in, Rudy out, tremendous power, another triple, Another half-in Rudy out into a half-out piked. Another double with a 1.5 twist. And a 2 3/4 piked into a ball-out half-out. A ball-out is a move that is done from the back. Any move from the back is called a ball-out, and that was an excellent routine there from Ralph. Here we see the second triple, the tuck triple. It's known as a triffus. Into a half-in Rudy out. What a tremendous shot that is, overhead shot. He scores 37.4 for a total of 100.6 and takes first place at the moment. See the cross and the meter box below. We move on to Bernd Leichhardt. Also from Germany, Ralph Pelle's teammate, lying in 9th position at the moment, building his height for the first move, which is a full-in Rudy out, 2.5 twisting double somersault. There are 7 judges watching the routine, and each judge gives a score for execution out of 10. The highest 2 scores and the lowest 2 scores are eliminated, and the middle 3 are added together, and the tariff or degree of difficulty is then added on to the execution score. And that's how we reach the final total for each routine. There's a Rudy out piked, lifting up into a half-in, half-out piked. The takeoff into a full-in, full-out. And he scores 36.7 with a total of 100.2. Alexander Dilchenko from the Soviet Union. Remember, the Soviet athletes have dominated this world trampolining scene for the last 4 or 5 years. He starts with a triple piked, into a half-in, half-out triple, into another triple, 3 triples linked together. A Rudy out, a full-in, full-out straight, a half-in Rudy out, a little bit of travel there, right back, so he has to put in an easy move to finish off. I'm sure a straight back wasn't part of the routine, but then when you're going wrong, it's much better to do a simple one than not do a move at all. Here's the half-in Rudy out. And the Rudy out piked. Here we see from above the triple somersault with a half twist, and he scores 36.0 for a total of 99.6, which leaves him in 3rd place at the moment. Next to compete is Fabrice Schwertz from France. The French have very good pedigree in world-class trampolining. Back in 1984, Lionel Pierlin from France was the world champion, and going back even further was the great Tisson. Building the power for the routine here. Tremendous height required. You can bet the first move's going to be a triple. In world-class men's trampolining, you hardly dare not start without a triple. Very important that the first bounce is the right one. Yes, triple piked somersault. Into a half-in Rudy out. Into a half-out piked. And a Miller, a very, very difficult routine, named after the great Wayne Miller. A triple twisting double back somersault. And a full-in, full-out there, building up for the finish. And he really snatched the finish. Came in very short from the move before and snatched it off bent knees. He'll pay the penalty for that last move, but it was still a very good routine and a very, very high tariff. Here's the half-out piked, and this next move will be the Miller, but we didn't see it there, never mind. A half-in Rudy out, a close-up there. You can see him looking at the bed, picking up the bed as soon as possible. And he scores 38.1 for a total of 102.1, which puts Fabrice in first place. Next we have Zachariah Abramsville from the Soviet Union. This is a new name to me. I've been involved in world-class trampolining for many years, and this is a new lad from the Soviet Union on the scene. Let's see what he's made of. Very tall, long-legged, which will make rotating quite hard because of the leverage. You wouldn't think so, though. A Rudy out Triffis, the hardest move we've seen so far. And he works into a full-in, half-out straight, into a full-in, full-out straight. And a Miller to finish. No, not to finish. Into a full-in Rudy out. And a double back to finish. It got a little bit tatty towards the end, but what a tremendous start. The first 1.5 twisting triple somersault that we've seen as a beginning to a routine. There's the full-in, full-out. And another triple in the tucked position. Now we have the overhead view of a Miller, the triple twisting double somersault, one of the most complicated moves in trampolining. He scores 36.0 to give him a total of 100.1 and moves into 4th position. The next competitor is John Hanson from Denmark. John is a very, very experienced competitor. He's been the World Cup champion. He's ranked in the top 4 in the world for a few years. And he also starts with the big triple somersault. Builds the power. A pike triple. Full in, full out. Into a tuck triple. And a half in Rudy out. That's a double somersault with a double twist. A half in, half out. When I say a half in, half out, or a full in, half out, it means that the full is in the first somersault and the out somersault is the second somersault. Being congratulated there by Bo Turvey, who was a very well-known Danish trampolinist. The tuck triple, a very tight tuck. Lovely extension at the end of the move. Here's the overhead shot of the Rudy out pikes. You can see the cross, you can see the meter box down there. And he scores 37.1 for a total of 102.8 and takes the lead. John Hanson there moving into first place. The next to compete is Mikhail Kuhn from Germany with a carryover score of 66.20. Mikhail Kuhn is a superb trampolinist, renowned for superb lines, beautiful aesthetic form in his routine. Here he is building the height at the start, triple tucked, half in Rudy out, beautiful continuity of height, building the next move right back up to where the one before came from. Full in, full out. A full in, half out. And the big Miller to finish. Triple twisting, double back somersault. And he looks really happy with that. All the emotion coming out there. Being so keyed up for the big moment. No doubt he'll jump down to Roland or Paul Luxton, who'll congratulate him on a superb routine. There's Paul. Half in Rudy out, spots the bed. And a Rudy out piked. The crowd really enjoying that one because he's the home lad. Here's the overhead view. Half in, half out. He scores 38. A total of 104.2 and takes the lead. Next we have another fine athlete from the Soviet Union, Dimitri Polaroush. Does a very difficult routine. He has a carryover score of 67.80. Presents himself to the judges before starting the pre-bouncing. By the time these competitors start their first move, they're somewhere around 7 meters up in the air. It's hard to believe. Pike triple, half in Rudy outs, full in, full out, Rudy out, another full in, full out. This is quality trampolining. A little bit of movement there, and he snatched the last move, which was the Miller, in the straight position, so perhaps he was entitled to snatch it a little bit. He scores 38 for a total of 105.8, and he takes the lead. There's the full in, Rudy out in the straight position. And next we come to the master himself, Alexander Moscalenko, the current European champion. They say that there is trampolining and then there is Moscalenko. This man is renowned to be not just a little bit in front of the field in world trampolining, but a long way in front of the field. And I'm sure now we will get a taste of superb quality that this man is renowned for. And after that great big build-up, I just hope he doesn't fall off. There's the first move, a triple in the pike position, into a half-in, half-out triple, into a tuck triple, into a full-in, full-out. Absolute superb quality. I don't think I've ever witnessed trampolining like this. Very little movement. Superb consistency of power. And finishes with the triple twisting, double back in the straight position. Absolutely magnificent. Nobody is going to beat that. We pick him up here in the half-in, half-out triple. A half in the first and a half-out in the last somersault. And he scores 39.3 for an incredible world record total of 107.4, giving him the gold medal. And there is confirmation of Alexander Moscalenko, gold medal, Dimitri Polaroush from the Soviet Union, the silver medal, Mikhail Kuhn from Germany taking the bronze, and John Hanson from Denmark in 4th position.